Hello there, and welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngani Titan. We're here on Dukla Pass, and I'm in the M26 Pershing, the Tier 8 American medium tank. We're top tier, and recently the situation on Dukla Pass seems to settle down into kind of a stable or semi-stable meta. Predominantly the southern spawning team, the bulk of it still goes up the 1-2 line, with some tanks peeling off to the centre sometimes. I think there should be more tanks, certainly tank destroyers and medium tanks going towards the centre. I think light tanks, there's more spotting opportunities, and the heavy tanks frequently heading east to intercept the enemy heavy tanks coming down the 9 line. But that doesn't happen in this particular game. It's more of a case of the bulk of the team going up the 1-2 line. But the heavies that are heading east at the moment actually park up here at the bottom of the map and wait. I suppose it works. I think it's not exactly something I would recommend. It seems to me you're handing a lot of the initiative over to the enemy team. Plus you're sitting passively for quite a long time waiting for heavy tanks to drive halfways around the map. I'm pushing in a little bit towards the centre because there's quite a strong force coming up behind me, and I reckon I have better spotting chances towards the centre than I do by going up along the extreme western side of the map. So I initially park here at the corner of the building and just kind of peek around, see if there's anybody to the north of me. And then I go around the corner. I did not realise that building would actually take damage when I hit it. I thought it was a solid building. Otherwise, I'd probably been more careful in case artillery would have seen me, because if they were on the ball, they'd know that I was still around the building. However, now I've pushed on, there's nothing been seen, we've made right up to the end of the map, and it's now the first tank turns up. Now I stop here in the middle of the field, but I have sixth sense, a pretty good view range on this tank, and I'm not spotted. So I put some rounds into the back of the hammer. Plus I have cover nearby and I have a good idea where to go if I do get spotted. The thing is, in a situation like that, to respond instantly to being spotted. So we finish him off and we sit around, see what else is to be seen. So little Tiger 2 pops up in front of us. So I'm going to take the opportunity to see if I can put some rounds into him, because he's very near cover as well, and obviously as soon as he gets shot at, he will consider his position and back into cover or drive forward into cover. He has options. However, he spends quite a bit while dithering his position really, and he does spot me eventually, so we drive straight behind the rock. And somebody's pointing their gun at me, so I come around here and we spot the Oni. Now the Oni snaps off a pretty hurried shot and misses, so I wait probably a bit longer than is wise, and then I start jinking around because I'm thinking artillery is around somewhere and is bound to be paying attention to the centre of the map. At least I would if I was artillery. I spot the Tiger, but I don't have any direct line of sight in him, but I am picking up quite a nice handful of assisted damage ribbons. There's a tank to the north of me, but a juicy target has turned up. The artillery, the FE-305. It's a new premium artillery. I don't know much about it. As far as I know, it's kind of a Burt chassis with one of the guns from the Conqueror gun carriage. No idea how good, bad or indifferent it is. I presume it has Burt-like characteristics, but I don't know whether it has a longer range or a similar range to Burt, or whether it has the similar firing arc that Burt has, which makes it, and rapid rate of fire, which makes it such a lethal piece of equipment on the battlefield. The thing that makes Burt most vicious is actually the rapid rate of fire. Now that Tiger is fairly exposed and he gets finished up before I get a chance to figure out how to deal with him. And now the Oni, so I just peek over my shoulder to see what the story with the Carnarvon is, and I think, well, he probably doesn't have a decent line of sight on me, so I can start harassing this Oni. Now when I come around, I run afoul of the Comet. Comet starts shooting at me. He actually put some effective fire into me, but I still managed to get my hit off. And the O&E gets finished for his trouble because I suppose I have enough tanks with line of sight to him. So while I was thinking of having another go at the Comet, this light tank drives forward and I find that I'm now exposed to a T-34 in the middle of the field. Now I don't have a decent shot on him, so while I'm lining up for a turret hatch shot, somebody finishes him off. Now I did take a strike from the south, but it wasn't very effective, so I'm going to take the chance of going around the side of the rock. And artillery gets a very decent hit on me. Much stronger than I would have liked, so he's still in play and he's still somewhere. He's got a shooting solution on my position. That was another shot from the southern end of the map, from an unspotted something or other. But I have to deal with the Comet, and I'm going to try and stay as close to the windmill as possible to try and put the windmill between myself and the artillery. So my allies have dealt with the Comet, and there is the artillery. Fortunately for me, I don't think he directly hit me with that shot. I managed to survive it, and my colleagues have finished him off. Now this guy is either disconnected or AFK. His gun is pointing the right way and he's in a decent enough spot, so he probably got disconnected. I think the rocking is due to the impact of shots into him rather than anything the tank is doing. I don't see any recoil from the gun. So we're just farming damage and he's finished off, and we're now pretty dominant. All the remaining tanks to the south, we're dominating the enemy base area. And I can afford to go south. The majority of those heavy tanks that were holding the line have actually expired, but the line is still held and the enemy have not actually made any progress to the south. And even if they do at this point in time, with the whole team closing in on them, their prospects aren't great. There's still a decent selection of tank destroyers and heavy tanks within striking distance of our own base, and I'm in the van of the remainder of the force that went north, and we're all coming back south again, with one exception. And even the guy in the cap circle is not playing a totally pointless role. By being in the cap circle, he's putting the enemy under pressure, because if they want to have any chance of victory, they're going to have to actually think about how they're going to reset that cap. In some ways, they'd have been better off if they had moved earlier to attempt to reset the cap rather than remaining down there. Moved back as soon as they saw the position in the north wasn't looking too good, rather than trying to continue to push towards the cap. It's a common mistake as far as I'm concerned. You frequently see teams trying to push towards the cap, or even go into the cap and cap when they're outnumbered, when at the same time it is absolutely clear that there is a large enemy force within visible range of the cap circle. And they're not going to succeed. If you're going to be outnumbered and you're going to be outcapped, then you're going to go back, reset the cap and hide and try and deal with the enemy force one at a time. So we did pretty well. First class mastery, Confederate, nearly over 6k combined damage, which is not bad at all. So I'm quite happy with this result. I think I seem to do well in the Pershing, certainly better than I did in the British medium tanks, and we're #1 by experience. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you again soon.